I was gonna say, talk to me more about that because you said that and it's really like poignant because so I'm reminding myself of me going through that too because it's so weird, right? Especially when you create something that's like you can create a painting or you can create a book or you make a poem. It's something that's there, right? And it's like you can go through that process and you overcome it and you go to the other side and you're fine again and whatever, you go back outside, everything's perfect. But then when you come back again, and I think that's what we we're talking about before, when you come back again, you've learned, you almost kind of developed, like you said, the white blood cells. You've developed a way, tangible way to understand how you were in that process. And like if you have a piece of art that you can refer back to, you go, oh, I've done this before. Like look at me like 5 years ago talking about the same thing I'm going through now. Had perspective then, I went through it then so that I can really overcome it. And I find that such an interesting thing, how art is a way that we can, even like art from before, even if art from before when we're in a different phase of our life, is a way we can always use it to kind of overcome ourselves in the moment. And it's like, so when we create an art, we're creating it for ourselves. Now we're also creating it for our future version of ourselves, who's going to look back on this moment and be like, fuck, like, I really understood myself then, or like, I had this thing that I was going through, but somehow I found a way through, and it gives me hope to kind of know that whatever I'm going through now, I've overcome. You know, because it's really difficult, I think, when people go through stuff, you know, like, it happens to me, even to me all the time, you know, when I'm going through stuff, I have to create, because if I don't create, then I can't transform that thing into anything, you know. So talk to me about that. How do you think, what is it like when you transform pain or suffering into art? What is that process like? Is that a process that you think is needed in art? Can you not? Obviously, you can have happy thoughts. You can create lovely, crazy, rosy poems and whatever, or rosy paintings. But do you think when you get to that place of suffering, what you create is more real? It's more seeped in. Maybe not real, but it's more seeped in. You know what I'm trying to say? It's more seeped in that kind of that truth of your reality in that moment because you almost have to bleed to make this thing happen.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, actually, because when I look back at my old paintings, the first thing that comes into my mind is, how am I still alive? like, like, how have I gone through that? Like when I was making the painting itself, I was like not.
Okay.
I did not think I'd get through it. Like when you're in the middle of the dark and you can't see any light whatsoever, it's like you just see yourself as stranded. You can't see yourself past that moment. So then when now I look back and I'm like, how did I, you know,
How did I do it? Yeah, yeah.
Because like I'm just thinking like, yeah, like the amount of times that I thought that my life was done, you know, and then it wasn't.
But you did it exactly, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that teaches you something about yourself, about how, like, you know, actually, like, you have like a lot of ability to overcome things inside of you. You're very resistant, you know, and it's like no matter what comes next, you understand that the resistance in you is tangible. You have evidence of that, you know. And like you can attribute to art, you can attribute to who you are. What comes first? I don't know. Maybe it's who you are that creates the art, you know. You know, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like having that perspective. I'm gonna live my life like this, like an artist who creates art, and like that's how I get through my shit. You know, fuck therapy. I'm gonna create art. You know, but that is a therapeutic experience, you know. And I think I'm just wondering how, because I know you've done it, and we spoke about this too. What is that process like for you when you have to kind of like overcome that and turn whatever you're going through into something that, or do you even think of it like that? Do you think you're turning this into something that of art, or do you think I just need to do something right now and it just happens to be art?
You know, I'm starting to believe, not believe in therapy.
Go on.
I'm starting to not believe in therapy.
That's a very good, that's a very good start.
I'm getting myself ready for this.
Yes.
I have started to believe in feeling your emotions as they come, not letting things go per se, but letting them be a part of yourself. Just radical self-acceptance is what I believe in now. I don't believe that there's such thing as, you know, changing for the better, you know, not like in a bad way, but like I believe in, you know, there is your true self that you are, that how you have inside you, one that is productive, one that does what you want to do, one that believes in what you believe in, which is like a driving factor, like things that drive you to do things that you want to do. Things that make you happy. And I feel like when that isn't met, when you don't, well, when you're not your true self, you start to get into these abysses. You start to get into these voids and these shadow verses, as we say. And I feel like these small bits of creations that we make, for me, the art, the music and poetry for you, and performance arts with the spoken poetry that you do, I feel like they're all evidence of you getting past things, like you said before. And I feel like it's like kind of like keeping your certificate from getting your inoculation or your vaccine. You have like you have like this vaccination that you have from getting past something.
Yes.
You have the evidence of it, which is the artwork that you made.
Yes.
And then you have, the ability to look back on it and think about how you got that defensive barrier that you have to stop yourself from going through that again. If you let things go, then you're going to forget about it. You're going to forget about how to deal with those things, and you're going to go back to feeling like that again. Why would you want to?
Okay, let me go off that, because I know this is something we spoke about off camera, and it'd be good to get into it here too, because for me, a lot of people tell me to let stuff go, and I think they tell me that because they understand that my mind works in a very different way, where I will hyper-focus on something until I figure it out, and that hyperfixation will carry on for months and months and months, because I just try to because I have to almost throw myself through stuff, and they see how I struggle going through it, and they want me to be happy again, so they're like, let it go, Jeff, because it was just fine. But I always tell them, it's this is just who I am. It's the art, the part that you like, that kind of amazing personality, that comes from this too. It's an iceberg. That's the top. The depths of it is the fact that I can't let stuff go. The fact that inside of me is a fucking massive tide of emotions that I can only express a little bit, and I can the ability to let go, and it's something I struggle with. Is something I try to work on, but I remember you always saying, it's why let it go? Because you have to feel through it, and these emotions are evidence that you went through the experience. And if you don't have that, you look back on your life, you think everything was just stifled, everything was just kind of repressed. How are you supposed to even get to an end where, because these experiences, they're going to make you the person that you need to be, because you're actually going through them, you're actually experiencing them. But a question I have is what if you're doing that, but it's painful and it's hard for you to go through them? How would you get freedom that way?
Well, no one likes pain. It's the main thing. No one likes pain unless you're a masochist.
Sadistic masochist. Yeah.
Unless that's your thing. But I'm a firm believer in feeling pain. I'm a huge believer in it. You have the Buddhists who believe that suffering is life. Yeah, you have these people who go through their life avoiding pain, and all they have in their life is all shallow things. They have money, they have a house, they have a family, and that's it. But then these people, they believe that this is what makes their lives enriched, but I don't believe that. I feel like you're gonna die one day. I keep saying this to
Memento
people.
Mori, bro.
Memento Mori, exactly. Thank you. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
You left me hanging on camera. I was about to cry. I was actually gonna cry right here.
If anyone missed it, I can't do handshakes. No.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Memento Mori. You're gonna die one day. Why would you want to die not being yourself? You're gonna avoid all these things in your life that you can look back on. Yeah, it's terrible. It's a really, really bad thing to go through, whatever you're going through. And you have to just accept the fact that it's happening to you.
Okay, break it down for us. How do you go through emotions? Because you're right, it is easy to tell people, just go through the emotions, dude. It's fine, dude.
Just feel it.
Dude. Just let it take over you, dude. But how do you really tangibly go through emotions? Say you're feeling anger, say you're feeling listlessness, and it's all you feel is an intense emotion, and all you want to do is get rid of it. How would you sit in that? How do you sit in those difficult emotions?
Well, I kind of just do. You just, because I don't know. What I remind myself, and sometimes it is harder than other times. Sometimes I'm even, I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I do avoid pain sometimes as well. But when you're going through things, I like to remind myself, or try to, that whatever you're going through is sort of those canal things when you're the water gates, that it builds up the water and it keeps it closed, and then it opens up for the canal to go through, but it first lets all the water go through. The canal can't pass unless the water is risen, unless the water gate has let the water through. It can't go past. You know, if you're going to keep the water gate closed in the canal, you can't move. You know, you can't move forward. You can't get to where you want to be because you're stuck in this moment because you're not letting yourself feel anything. You know, you're not you're not really letting yourself express it. People who, you know, refuse to cry or refuse to ask for help or refuse to even just say, hey man, can you just like listen to what I have to say? Because you're just letting it out. You know, let it out, let it in, be in the moments, because that's what keeps time slow for you. Like if you keep on trying to get past things, like, you know, let things go, you're going to end up being 50, 60 years old past that and think, where did the time go? Because you've just been avoiding things all your life. You've been, you know, skipping past roofs, trying to avoid the alleyways, and you missed out what was in there. You missed out on what those alleyways, you know, had inside them, because you were too busy trying to avoid the pain.
I think it's so true too, because like I think obviously for me too, to be honest, one of the things I struggle is feeling that emotions. The emotion I struggle most with actually letting go, but also feeling like sadness almost, and it's deeper than sadness. I don't even know the word for it. Probably some French word, ennui probably. It's feeling ennui because I really want to make every aspect of my life exciting. I want to live every moment of my life and have this like understanding. I was telling a friend about this. I have this like deep understanding that we are going to die one day, and it's like every moment that we have, all these things that don't go your way, those are just moments passing by, you know, like tears in the rain, lost, you know, like it's just, you will never get those moments back. And so I have this kind of feeling about those deep moments. I'm like, damn, like I wish I didn't feel like this, so I can enjoy my life. But I'm learning now to feel these emotions and to talk to people about it, because I know that only one way, two things, right? A, it helps you connect to people. So when you share your pain and they realize, oh shit, you're also just like me because I relate to what you're talking about, it gives them an opportunity to share their pain, you know. And the people that, you know, like, because I often think in society we have this weird kind of understanding that everyone else is better than us, which is not true. We're all the same. We're all literally going through the same thing. We just have very good masks. Some people are just very good at hiding it, you know. But I feel like once you break that down with people and you're able to share those emotions, share those moments of just vulnerability, then you can actually like connect with them. Once you connect with someone, man, that gives them hope about human life, you know. And I think that's beautiful. And so like just for that reason, I'm learning, okay, share those emotions, come out, and then, you know, being able to just like, you know, even if I'm going through something small, you know, like I was talking to you about my woe is me problems, you know. Oh my god, I have so many friends, oh my god, I can't keep up with all of them. But that's a real emotion, you know. That's a real thing that I'm going through, and that's a real thing I'm learning to overcome and stuff like that. I wanted to ask you, what is something that you struggle with? What's an emotion that you struggle with that as you've gone older, you've learned maybe not to overcome it, but like to handle it and to live in it, to sit in it and to let it be?
I don't know. Obviously, you have the basic ones, low self-esteem. You have the low self-confidence. I think there are two of them that I can think of that I struggle with the most. Boredom. I hate feeling bored. I hate it. And then there's also the feeling of not really belonging anywhere.
Go with boredom first. Talk to me about both of them, but go with boredom first. Why do you hate feeling bored?
Boredom is the worst feeling in the world. Not, you know,
literally, but like
not in a third world, you know,
yeah,
but like
in the sense of like, yeah, right here.
In the sense of my individual life,
yeah.
Boredom is sort of like this parasite that kind of clings to you when you're not doing anything, and you start to feel like, damn, there's like, I have to do something, but I can't. Like, I just, you know, you're like paralyzed, you know. Oh, I feel paralyzed when I'm bored. And then you end up doing things that are not good for you, like overeating or like talking to your ex or whatever. You just start doing things to like make yourself feel anything again. But I found my cure for that, and that's just, you know, finding songs that make me want to cry, like show tunes, Lady Gaga, that kind of thing, Alanis Morissette, you know, just feel songs, because I realize that boredom is not really a problem in itself. It's more of a symptom of something else that's happening. When you're bored, it means you're avoiding something, and that usually is a bad emotion, because when you're bored, it's like your brain is shut off, There are things to do. There's go to London, to meet Jeff, or there's like, paint the painting that you wanted to do, and then it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then people just write it off as boredom.
Yeah.
But that's not the problem in itself. That's a symptom of it.
Symptom of the problem, yeah. And especially in our society that we live in currently, right? It's like everyone's trying to escape that boredom by just fulfilling themselves with just like tap, 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 or like literally go out and just like just constant stimulation to get rid of that boredom.
Yeah.
But then it's like you're still left with yourself. You can't run away from yourself.
Yeah.
And so you have to face yourself in that sense. What was the second one? The second one that you said?
The second one was not really belonging anywhere. Kind of feeling like either people don't care about you or the world is just sort of like separate from yourself. And I feel like that comes from a place of either not being secure in what you're doing or not being who you truly want to be. Because I feel like the happiest people feel like everyone's their friend, like that drunk guy down the road. He's like, yes, I'm good, high-fiving everybody. Like that, they feel like they belong because they're like everyone's their friend.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you feel like you don't belong, it's usually because you either two options. Either you're being highly judgmental with other people and don't believe that they would understand you, which is a judgment, which makes you judgmental. Because if you're judging other people, that makes you a person who's judgmental. Anyway. Judging.
Not, yes, you be judged.
Exactly. And if anyone's interested in that aspect of psychology, look into MBTI types. That'll answer your questions.
Speak a little more on that, because I'm not interested now that you said that. For them too, but first for me.
Well, it's like, it's a Carl Jung thing. It's like 16 personalities. It's pretty basic. It's like you have introversion or extroversion, intuitive or sensing, feeling or perceiving, thinking and feeling, and then judging and perceiving. So you have different like letters that would make you a personality type. My one is INFJ, so that means I'm introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. So I do have the tendency to judge other people based on preconceptions, which is what I have to get myself out of. Basically, not allowing myself to open up to feel things, which is like, a weird paradox, because artists do that, even though they are the most emotional people. Like they stop themselves from being emotional because they are emotional. Like that makes no sense, because artists are paradoxes, I swear. Like, don't be friends with one.
What are you talking about?
Don't be friends.
Friends with artists. They're the best types of
Don't
people.
be friends with me, okay? Because you'll get like overwhelmed.
Can I go with that? I think it's too late. I'm already friends with you, so instructions unclear. I was already friends with you before you started. But no, 100%. I completely believe what you're saying. I think it's so true. Like the idea that like, first off, on the emotional thing too, I feel like there's an emotional Overton window. There's there's emotions that we feel like are acceptable in society to have, and so like especially maybe for guys or girls or even like this your social standing, and like every time we talk about how we feel, we have to classify it, it's like, oh yeah, because we're not in the third world, but it's like, bro, it doesn't matter. You're still going through the human experience, Like I've been through the third world. They are probably happier than we are because they don't have to deal with the same stuff we have to deal with. Of course, they've got issues, classifying again, but like it's the idea that like to certain things that is okay to feel, the certain emotions that is acceptable to feel, because that allows you to fit into society. Everyone is allowed to be depressed. When I was at uni, everyone's depressed. Everyone's just as what it is, you're depressed. But like if it's like a tangible emotion, like I don't know, you feel like constant dread about society or something like that, or you feel like I don't know, you just feel ennui or like whatever emotion that society doesn't conform to, you're not allowed to have that, and that's a very difficult thing to do, because like how are you supposed to feel that emotion if people don't expect you to have that? So the question I'm asking, do you think about that? Do you think society has an Overton window of emotional, acceptable emotions? And if that is the case, what do we do?
I'm not going to pretend that I know all the answers, but I think one of them is people like your other friends telling you to let things go. That's one of the symptoms of the problem. People trying to avoid things. And I also feel like people who kind of ask you if you're okay, only to then say to you, let things go. Then letting it go is more for them than it is for you, I feel like.
I don't want to hate they do care. I know. I'm going to defend my friends. They do care about me. It's
no,
come from a place of good, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
It comes from a place of good, obviously. But I feel like in terms of social interaction, letting things go is more for them so that they feel more comfortable talking to you. I do feel like, because, you know, I don't know, the whole aspect of sitting in your emotions and letting it like stir just for a little while so that you know that you're human, you know, is a lot more of a I feel like that's kind of like the medicine that you need when you've been for so long ignoring your emotions and ignoring how you feel, and repressing them, because that's when things happen. That's when bad things happen. And when people tell you to let things go, that's sort of like a symptom of it, because they've been doing the same thing where they've just been, you know, ignoring things and letting things build. Because it gets to a point where you're smiling, you're letting things go, you're like, oh yeah, hey, everything's fine, but it is what it is, which I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase so much.
It is what it is.
Like, I use it myself, but like I hate it at the same time.
No, it is not what it is. What you choose it to be.
Exactly. Like, because it's true, it is what it is, but like, don't just let that go. Like, yeah, you know, it's things like where it's like, if someone was mean to you, yeah, you can let that go because it's probably their problem. But if it's a problem within yourself, why should you let that go? It's part of you. You know, you are the person who created those emotions in the first place. It's your chemicals. Like, why are you letting that go? Like, what are you gonna do? Bloodlet? You're just gonna get rid of those chemicals that created the emotion in the first place? You can't. That's impossible.
It doesn't help.
I'm getting all worked up.
No, please do. That's exactly what you're supposed to. Okay, I got a question on that. I think also it's beautiful too, because you're right. Letting things go is mostly for other people, and like one of the things that I think is so interesting about the human experience, if that can be said, it's like we always have these like moments of like spikes where you just like you almost like you flip online, and like when it definitely happens in small trajectories when we have those like emotional turmoil moments, but I think it happens biggest when we have those existential crises. So the question I want to ask you is, like, I remember my first existential crisis, and I go off that, but I also want to know yours, because I feel like for me, when I first realized the massiveness of the world and my small, like almost meaningless existence in it, it kind of sent me on a spiral. But it was twofold, right? First, it was a spiral of like nothing matters, yeah, and then the second was that everything matters, and those came like after each other because of like philosophy. So like I would read a lot when I was a kid. I still do, but way more when I was back in the day. I would read all the time, and like you would read all these different like Nietzsche and Socrates and like I don't know, like Descartes. Like you'd read all these different philosophers, and they'll be telling you how meaningless your life is and how these ideas for thousands of years we figured it out. Like life is this, and like I was like, wait, what? Like life is what? And I don't even have to. I'm like 18. I'm trying to figure my stuff out, but that was very, very, very like vivid for me. Like it was I probably had, because before then I did not think about these topics at all. I was just like running around like a little kid playing football, living life, completely NPC'd out here. But that kind of woke me up, and I was like, okay, cool. There's more to life than just the surface. This actually goes deeper, and going deeper allows you to kind of like learn how to swim. So the question I'm asking you is like, yeah, when did you have your first existential crisis, and did it change the way you view the world?